Welcome back, Book Dragons. I'm so glad you're here with me today. It is time for my monthly update, and I've got some special stuff in store for you today. We're going to talk about everything that I read in July, and we're also going to talk about my plans for August, and then we're going to go over some highlights like we normally do, and I've got some special stuff to talk about in the highlights that I want you to make sure and stick around for, okay? So, as always, timestamps in the description below, and away we go. So, we're going to talk about July 1st, and July was a really good reading month for me, surprisingly, because I moved, and I thought sure that I would not be able to get all of my reading done, but I did. I was successful. I was really happy about that. So, let's talk about everything I read. The first book I want to talk about is actually a DNF. I rarely DNF books, but when I do, it's significant for me. This one was really unfortunate because it was gifted to me by the author, and that is The Legend of Black Jack by A.R. Witham. And I was really excited about this book. I thought it would probably be something I would like, and I didn't. I DNF'd it 80 pages in. It's not that it's a bad book. It's not. A lot of people love it. It just wasn't for me. It wasn't my cup of tea. So that's my most recent DNF, and I was really sad about that. So in its place, I picked up Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher, and I really quite enjoyed this book. It wasn't one of my most favorite books, but it was a really good book, and I do have a review for it on the channel. If you want to check it out, feel free to find that review. I'll also link it in the cards at the end of the video. This was actually a really good book. I borrowed it from a friend, and I'm really happy I did, and I plan to read more T. Kingfisher in the future because I was really impressed. So, the next book I want to talk about is Golden Fool by Robin Hobb. Oh my gosh, guys, Golden Fool was such an amazing book. I am loving this series way better than the Farseer trilogy. And I compare it to Farseer because these characters are the same characters, or mostly the same characters, from the Farseer trilogy. Whereas the Live Ship Traders follows a whole different cast. And I love Live Ship Traders as well. But as far as series that incorporate these particular characters, the Tawny Men trilogy is just really, really working for me. I buddy read Golden Fool with Danielle from Bookcara, so I'll link her channel below. It was just a really awesome experience. We had a really great discussion after we finished the book. And it wasn't a live discussion. We've just kind of been getting together and discussing offline together. And it's just been a really wonderful experience. I'm really excited to get to the final book at some point this year. I don't know when that will be, but maybe October. I think we're kind of leaning toward October for that. So stay tuned for more on the Tawny Men trilogy, but I was just really impressed with Golden Fool. This world just keeps getting better. So, yeah. So the next book on my list that I want to talk about is The Murder on the Links by Agatha Christie. This is the second chronological book in the Hercule Poirot mysteries, and I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I buddy read this with my friend Mona Lisa over at Mona Lisa Reads, and it was just a wild and crazy time trying to figure out who done it. And as usual, at least with me, I was completely off in who I suspected the murder was. But I like it like that. I like it when I can't figure out a book, even though I try to solve it. You know, that's the fun of reading a mystery, is you try to solve the mystery. But I'm really glad that I didn't, and I was able to be wowed at the end, and it was definitely a shocker. So I will be continuing to read this series with Mona Lisa, and I'm just having a blast with it. So the final book that I want to talk about on this list is Gunmetal Gods. And that was my patron pick for the third quarter of 2024, and it was just amazing. I mean, it had its flaws, but it was overall an excellent book. It's a self-published novel and a debut novel from that author, which I was really impressed with how well it was written. And I will definitely be reading more in this series. Not right away. It's not going to be one of those that I just, oh, I have to jump on the next book. But I will be reading more in the... I don't remember the name of the series, so I'm just going to call it the Gunmetal Gods series for now. The author is Zamil Akhtar, and I actually buddy read this with my patrons. So if you are not signed up for my Patreon, you can find the link to that below. I also, you can always see my little QR code for my link tree on the screen. And so, if you want to be able to join in Buddy Reads and other fun stuff on Patreon, you can join there. And I do want to take this opportunity to shout out my patrons. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all that you do, and I'm excited for what the future holds. So that was my month of July. I just had an absolute blast with my reading, despite all the chaos going on. So let's talk about what I plan to read in August, okay? And this is going to be a very unique month, because my Stein of Power is ruling the month of August. Mostly. I did pick one book that I want to read, but everything else is coming out of the Stein of Power. Okay? So, we'll get to that in a minute. Stay where you are, don't go away. I'm going to talk about the book that I picked for August 1st. And that is, oh, where are you going? Are you going to, okay, you're going to get down? All right. So, the book that I picked for the month of August is Recursion by Blake Crouch. Yes, I've been wanting to get back to Blake Crouch. I absolutely love Dark Matter. I plan to read most of his stuff, if not all of his stuff at this point. And Recursion is next on my list. So I will be reading Recursion in the month of August. And now, guys, I need to put on my eyes so that I can actually read the chicken scratch on these here. Let's see what I get. Alright, so I'm picking three books, guys, from my Stein of Power. And the first one here is, ooh, The Tainted Cup. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that there. But it's The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. I'm so excited, guys. Let me grab that off the shelf. Where did that go? There it is. All right. Bear with me 1 minute. Oh. Still in chaos here. Yes. The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. Look at that cover, guys. That is just absolutely beautiful. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited about this. And this is my signed copy. I met Robert Jackson Bennett at Comic-Con, well, Phoenix Fan Fusion, basically. And he signed it for me, so this is a signed copy. I'm super excited to read this. Alright, guys, here we go. Ready? Here's the next pick. I don't know why the brim of my hat keeps doing that, but it keeps doing that. Alright. I am not looking. Alright, let's see what my next pick is. Oh my. Justice of Kings. Alright, Justice of Kings. So let's see. I had that right there. Alright, that is The Justice of Kings by Richard Swan. Now, I have seen a lot of reviews about this book. I don't know what I'm going to think of it going into it, but I'm really hoping I enjoy it. So, yeah, more to come on this. We'll see what I think of it, and I'm excited to try it out. All right, and the final book for the month of August is, oh, whoops, there we go. All right, so let's see what I got here. Oh, and that would be The Child Thief. All right, so let's see. The Child Thief by Brahm. That's so exciting, guys. I don't know what to think about 3 fairly chunky books. But August rules my TBR, and I still reserve the right to DNF. So, I mean, I hope I won't DNF any of these. But, you know, if I do, I reserve that right, and I'll find something else to read. So, that is it. So I've got Recursion, and I've got The Child Thief, The Justice of Kings, and The Tainted Cup. And those are my picks for August. So I'm really excited about that, guys. All right, so let's talk about some of my highlights from the month of June. And of course, you know, one of those highlights is that I moved. Everything went smoothly. You can see my bookcase is put together. The rest of the house is not put together yet. I had priorities, right? So, yes, the rest of the house is not put together yet. It will be eventually, but at least I've got my books. So, but it went smoothly, more or less. I did slightly injure my toe, just a little bit. It's not bad. It's not broken. It's just, you know, it was not a happy toe. So yes, but I'm okay. I'm doing good. I'm recuperating. So that was an interesting event for the month. And then I've got some shows that I watched during the month of July. And it was really interesting. My son and I binged through all 4 seasons of The Boys. And there's only one more season, I think. And then we also binged the first season of Gen V, which is the spin-off series from The Boys. So we are all boysed out in Gen V. I mean, that series, oh my goodness, it's good, but it's also very dark and effed up. It's really effed up. I mean, every season just builds on the last. I'm being more and more effed up. So just be aware. It's vulgar, it's crude, it's very, very adult. So if you're planning to watch it and you haven't yet, just be aware. It's definitely for adults only. Like really for adults only. But I mean, I'm glad I watched it. It was entertaining in a messed up way, I guess, right? So, all right. And then I've also been watching House of the Dragon, and there's only one more episode left, but I've been really enjoying House of the Dragon, so I will probably report to you next month that I finished the House of the Dragon. But it's so good, guys. And a lot of people are complaining that it's a really slow burn and not much action. I don't really feel that way. I feel like we've gotten plenty of action, but I really enjoy the drama. I mean, you come to the world of Westeros for both the action and the drama. That's kind of what you're signing up for. So if you think that there's too much drama and too much of a slow pace, that's kind of what you signed up for. So I'm there for it. I'm absolutely loving it. So far, I have loved both seasons of House of the Dragon more than I enjoyed Game of Thrones. And that's saying a lot because I did enjoy Game of Thrones. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of that world in general. So, yeah. And that's all I'm going to talk about as far as shows that I watched in the month of August. There were a few others, but those are the ones that really stuck out to me. So, now we're going to talk about a special event. Guys, I am coming up on 5 years on YouTube. 5 years. And I am going to be doing a live stream. I haven't figured out all the particulars of it, but I do have a date. Mark it on your calendar. And that will be August 11th. I don't have a time. I will be making the announcement within the next week of when that will be and what you can plan for. But stay tuned. Set your calendars for August 11th sometime. It's a Sunday, so you can start the new week with Chaz. And I'm super excited to celebrate 5 years on YouTube. And it's just been a wonderful experience so far. mostly because of all of you guys. I just really appreciate all of you who watch my videos and comment and all the support you give. Everybody's so pleasant. I'm just so happy that I started this journey, and I plan to continue. I am not going anywhere anytime soon, guys. So that's all I've got to talk about as far as highlights and what you can expect. Let me know in the comments how July went for you. What plans do you have for August? And until next time, guys, read more books. I'll talk to you soon.